Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Rusty Bills, Vice President of Operations for Gagliardi Group. Hey, typically this time of year, I would be out and about with marketing, touring the ADIs, getting to see your friendly faces, visiting the restaurants, and then come together for a meeting for a marketing and agency presentation. And then I would provide some updates on things that transpired during that year and things we're working on for next year. So obviously things are different. We're adapting, we're having to pivot. So we're doing it this way. It's just so you get some information to watch at your leisure. I'm not going to bore everyone on a Zoom meeting every single time, everything. But so that's what we're doing. I wanted to kick off by saying, here we are in the month of giving and giving thanks. I'm 100% very grateful and thankful for all the franchisees and that we are in the category and industry that has drive-throughs. So thankful that has carried us. We've thrived in this environment. So I'm very appreciative of that. So anyway, positive message there. I want to also mention that our number one priority through this entire pandemic has been the health and safety of the franchise community, the franchisees' employees, Gagliardi Group employees, as well as all the guests that come in contact with us. So again, all the decisions we made, all the things we did on a whim, quick, is all for that one message. As you know, sales have been skyrocketing. We have a historic sales month over month over month, and it's lasted a lot longer than anyone had anticipated. Here we see the Wiener Schnitzel same store sales were up 25% in the third quarter. We kind of put that together with the QSR industry. For the numbers we have for the publicly traded companies, they're up 4.8%. So obviously here's some examples. You got Jack in the Box, Del Taco up in that 6.5, McDonald's, and then Burger King even down. Now, this is information, it's just data. We can do what we want with it. We're extremely thrilled that we're up 25%. Seeing that they're like this, there's a different variable of reasons. Could be location, we're Pacific Southwest. They are more global brands. But there's a lot of things that go into this, but we're extremely proud of where we're at right now. Just to give you a visual what that looks like, this orange line is 2019. You get to see the typical ebb and flow of spikes in March and categorize and then come down in later months. Here, this kind of peaked at the 75 to 78 average volume and then coming down. Here's the blue, 2020. Look what that did. That took a big hit, especially right at late April and early May where it just took off. So these averages up here are in the upper 90s. So, and to encapsulate that, what the visual means, in 2019 we had $53 million restaurants in our brands. So far, right now through October, we have 102. So we have plenty more that are going to do it because they have 2 more months worth of sales. That kind of gives you a visual of how well the brand has done. So that's remarkable. What goes into increased sales? So many facets. What we're going to do is focus on some of the categories that we think that we've differentiated and has contributed to the success thus far. First and foremost, I think the fact that 1/3 of our brand doesn't even have a drive-through or a dining room, has a huge impact, because when guidelines were set forth to say dining rooms are closed, only way you can get it is takeout, drive-through, and third-party delivery, we were already set in motion for that. So that helped us tremendously. And even with our restaurants that have dining, they don't have a big 50-50 split. Some of the big players that I mentioned before, they have a 50-50 split. So now closing your dining room didn't impact us in a negative way as it did other brands. So that we're very proud of. Having the A-frames and A2s makes us that much more successful during this time. The majority of our brand, I'd say approximately 72% right now of our restaurants do reside in California. I know there's good and bad that goes with that. But based on having the most strict guidelines in all of the United States, California means more of the fast casual segment, more of the full service family casual segment have been hit hardest. And that means that they've had to close their dining rooms. They've had to kind of think of different ways. How do we get food to our consumers? People have added third-party delivery. People are getting creative with their takeout schemes. Bundling. Chipotle added a Chipotlane because they don't have drive-through. So people are trying to be very innovative where we already have that in our category. So that's part of it. Another thing is appealing, craveable food that our guests love. Our guests rely on the food that we have always delivered to them, so they feel more comfortable during this time of going to where you trust. I think that helps. Our kitchen efficiencies have gotten better. We've streamlined some prep procedures. We've gotten rid of, say, whipped cream and some of the hiccups, the roadblocks we have on service. The holding cabinets for burgers, which we had no idea that we were going to get to this, where we're going to double, triple our burger sales. Well, that's been great for our efficiencies to be fast. I'd say that, Tasty Freeze and our drink program are second to none. Obviously, I have a biased approach because I'm part of some of these, how they roll out. Our company is very proud of how we've handled this during this time, because we actually launched the Fruit Loop cone dip and shake right as everything was getting chaotic. We had have no idea that we'd sell out of that product and how prominent it was, but you know what, it looked good. And our program, maybe it's a guilty indulgence. When people are stressed out, it's like, hey, let's go through a drive-through where we can get a great treat. There's not a lot of drive-throughs out there that can do it, so that's why we want to do it, and it helped increase our check average too. We all know that third-party delivery has really taken off around the country, around our brand. We already had Uber Eats and DoorDash signed up. We've added Postmates in May during all this. It's really helped elevate sales at store level, knowing that people can not even have to get up to go to a drive-through. So now that's another piece of the puzzle that's really helped us. Ultimately, always have to give credit to marketing here. Our marketing program and the direction that the new agency has taken us. It's more of a colorful, more just a bigger program that we've ever had before, where you get to Todd and Lisa in a really clean restaurant. And this is store 588, Nick Frick. His store is phenomenal in Ontario. So we went ahead and they use that for the commercials because it's a real life setting. Todd and Lisa are kind of fun and kind of quirky. And then you throw in TDO, like throwing darts at Australia and mixing the cheesy ooze fest in a big tub. It's just fun, it's creative, who knows. Also the coupons, maybe people are looking at coupons more often now because they're home. They're looking on their mailbox, they need to get up off the couch, go outside, mailbox come in, go, hey, we can go to the drive-thru, get this amazing food at Wienerschnitzel. Obviously the marketing brings color imagery to our building, to our translights, to our menu boards, and I think that helps people. So they've done a really good job of bold colors and programs that have really helped, so that's part of the puzzle. I think another marketing piece that gets missed is how we have followed the guidelines. We've been given a lot of things, a lot of information's been thrown our way, we've grabbed it, we've ran with it, we provided all the guidelines followed for our guests, and they've noticed. They feel comfortable coming to us. SMG sent this to me, just reminding me that our customers thank us because they know that good food, good service despite the coronavirus scare. We thank you because the drive-thru, they had all the guidelines and the masks and the plexiglass. We appreciate that. That's marketing. People know that they can come to you and trust you because they know that you're abiding by healthy safety guidelines. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, we do know that increased sales are great. They're great for sales and your profits. But there have been and still continue to be some challenges, some roadblocks, some things that we're trying to work through. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. We know that staffing is number one. All the FBCs reached out to all the franchisees in the system, reported back that after they surveyed how you're doing, the number one thing was staffing across the board. Didn't matter what state, city, it didn't discriminate, it's everywhere. And staffing, obviously, because you have a challenge hiring people because of different reasons. The government's paying people a lot. Why work when you can get money? They're scared. They don't want to go to work with the public if they can get sick. Then you combat that with historic sales records where we need more employees. And so we're having a hard time finding people. So of course we launched like the Snag-a-Job program that we're going to do at NOS. It was ready. We signed it. We got a career site. People can fill out an application online. It goes directly to your store. Then you can do a program if you want a monthly program with them. They do all the onboarding. They screen the applicants. They do all that for $33 a month. That's a piece of the puzzle. Now, another thing that we came across with increased sales was the traffic of everything that affected with vendors, with all of our partners. PFG had to lay off a bunch of drivers. PFG, a lot of their other businesses were out of business and they didn't have dining rooms, so they didn't have the volume. Well, that created a lot of problems, a lot of issues that we fought through. Another thing is we ran out of products. We ran out of corn dogs, mini corn dogs. We ran out of the drink syrup. The drink syrup, we had 8 weeks of supply and we went through it all in 5 days. Nobody would have expected that increased surge of not only the demand, but then we ran out of it. The Angus hot dogs, that meat block, we ran out of based on raw materials and at the factory. Then you have the clamshells and cups. Pactiv, our supplier of those in Stockton, they went through a lot of these electrical outages where they did blackouts, rolling blackouts, so they lost electricity. Then they have a lot of families that work there that got COVID, so they had some issues. They couldn't produce our products. And then we ran out of coins. The whole country ran out of coins. So that wasn't our fault, but so you have that merge of COVID related and our spike in sales was the perfect bad storm for us running out of things. And so we started putting these signs together saying, hey, just bear with us, this is what's going on. Another thing is our proprietary packaging. This bothered us because we're not proud to put a Pepsi product, we're proud of Pepsi, but we want our logo on there. But we had to make decisions on the fly. Our purchasing department has done a tremendous job. And I owe them so much gratitude because they're running with all these things and they keep us in the loop, and a few of us make some decisions to say, what do we need to do right now to make sure our franchisees have a package to provide that chili cheese fry in? That's basically what we do. That's our whole idea. How do we do that? So that's why we made some decisions that might seem a little quirky, but we had to scramble and find a solution that works so that you never miss the beat on what kind of drinks. Of course, you got a 32 ounce versus a 30. Of course, you got a 6-inch clam versus a 4. Those are subtle issues that we know by the end of December, we're feeling really good. We'll get everything across the chain with our logos back to our proprietary stuff. We had to collaborate with purchasing tremendously. We're on the phone all the time, working with them, with the vendors, whatever it takes. Our mindset was serve the franchisees. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to make sure you don't skip a beat? What's happened during this ride, it's been a crazy roller coaster ride. So many changes have happened. Lots of information. We kind of threw everything at you because everything was thrown at us. We tried to disseminate it and throw it out, and it's been challenging. So definitely want to thank you for your patience. What started out was very scary in late March, and then April comes, sales start going down. We could hit that drop of business, and all the unknown. Everyone's scratching their head going, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You start reading the news, you watch your political people out there, and nobody knows what's happening. Well, what we did is we got so much information. So JR says, hey, you know what we need you to put together a COVID task force so that we can compile all this information that's coming at us like a fire hose. And then we could present it, we could see and how to act. So we did that. We put together some of the FBCs, and what they did is they searched and Googled all communities around all of our stores in the chain. And what they did is they found out what requirements, what curfews, what paperwork, what documents, what window cleanings, what is required. And from that, we made decisions. We made decisions to get all the products out to you. The operations and purchasing assistant, Miriam, was dealing with a plethora of information. Like, okay, we need to logo this, we need to send this out, we need to provide this. We wanted to make sure we had the very best, quickest response to whatever PPE programs and materials that you needed. So we're working towards that. As I said, the franchisees' safety was and still is the most important to us. So a lot of these decisions were based on that. We were one of the first brands to kind of have an intensive plan to provide information, tools, and policies to protect against COVID. This means something like we had some communities that didn't require masks, but we did unilateral across the board. We have California, still doesn't require gloves. We thought, you know what, it's best for consumer perception. Let's make sure everyone, every franchisee's employee is the same across the chain. We ordered the PPE, the mask. It wasn't good enough, so we got different ones, but we just wanted to get the sanitizer right away. It wasn't our standard, but we got something so that you had all the tools you needed. One of the things I'm most proud of too is I worked with a lot of you, and you know who you are, where we would chat throughout the day of like, hey, this hurt, I just heard this, I heard that, we need to do this. LA County versus LA. We had Inland Empire versus Orange County. We have Texas versus Utah. So many different guidelines, and the franchisees were the ones to say, pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, Rusty, just so you know, we need to do this. Barbara Brandon in Fresno says, Fresno is the first of all the California communities that required consumers wear a mask or a face shield going through the drive-thru in the pickup window. So we're like, oh, so we created a new document so that they could put, and we didn't put Fresno, we just made it generic so that anyone else can use it in case that happened again. Marjorie from Lakewood says, hey, listen, LA County has very strict guidelines. They will fine you $500 if you don't have sanitizer in your dining room. It's like, whoa. So working with the franchise community, I've definitely enjoyed that. I appreciate you guys rallying behind all of us to come together, from internal corporate to the franchise community. We're all in this game together, trying to work towards it. So I appreciate that. We threw a lot your way. Darla sent this picture to me. This is what happened. Who knew that our uniform standards would ever resemble something as crazy and quirky as that? But that's 2020. We had to put logos on a mask. Marketing came out and said in June, hey, when your dining rooms open up, let's put these so that we can maintain social distancing. Then we put together a checklist to make sure you could properly reopen your dining room. We got feedback that there was a proper thing to help prevent any burns at the store and to get more yield out of it. So we provide this little Pouchmate, little device, little things like that we just threw your way. Purchasing says, hey, you know what? Why don't we look for the future? What if the guidelines are gonna say you can no longer have utensils that you could just touch? They need to be covered. So we said, you know what? Great idea. Let's get ahead of the curve. Let's be proactive. They go in, place the order, look, we're 3 months back ordered. Because so many categories of restaurants were now doing takeout, had never done it before. So we had to wait in line, but it was because we were proactive early in the game. Now we have these in all the restaurants, so really happy about that. You know, we had to put together a sign that says, this is kind of like your restaurant's calling card. This shows that you are following all these guidelines. From the training, the specialized COVID training that we launched, to the rigorous the cleaning that we do. Of course, we removed all the self-serve stuff. These are signs that we had to place, legally binding, to put on their window. So these are things that we jumped to make sure that we had these for you guys. You know, we knew that plexiglass barriers were coming. We didn't know what we're gonna do with the dining room, but Will Chambers, our facilities guy, says, hey, I can go and make these. We couldn't even find a vendor that sold them. This is before it's become a major company now. So he said, I'll go to Home Depot and Lowe's, 2 different choices. I'll cut the plexi, I'll get all the tools, I'll measure the windows, I'll do everything, and then put together a program. So we do that. We find out how much it costs. This is what's needed if you're ever gonna have face-to-face engagement. So that was really cool. Now everyone's got them, everyone sells them, but we've got that material for you as well. We also removed some things in 2020, which is all designed to help you. One of them is we finally got rid of lettuce. Lettuce, we got rid of it. Mayo, we got rid of because we don't sell the products anymore that need it. Of course, we do have packets if you're Texas residents apparently love mayonnaise on everything. We recently removed the whipped cream and garnish from the shakes just to be more efficient in the restaurant. People gave me a hallelujah by offering banana split optional now because they can't stand what that's like to do in the drive-thru because of how much time it takes to make, and it doesn't deliver on its product. So it became optional. If people didn't want to do it, remove it. Remove the nuts. Unnecessary allergen. It's for a banana split and a sundae. It's not needed. So we got rid of that. And just for a side note, the whipped cream removal is not for banana split or sundae. It's only for the shakes. Only for the shakes. All of these were just to keep your restaurant safe and more efficient. One of the things that obviously we're very excited about the side of the fence where there's a spike in sales, spike in profitability. The FBCs, their life and job has changed over this COVID because they've never been in office people. They've always been in the field, but we didn't want them engaged with you in close contact to protect you and to protect us. So the first couple months, all they were doing is calling, checking up on you. Hey, how are you doing? How's the family? They were doing drive-through visits. Notice that, hey, you're missing this and that. So that part has been challenging. But as we've evolved through this whole COVID crisis, there's been a lot of communication between myself and the rest of my team and Luana and Bijan, as well as the FBCs, finding out from you that, hey, we're making a lot more money. Sales are great. And they've reported back that there's been a lot of reinvestment into the brand, which I love. New equipment, signage, paint, parking lots. We even have some people who upgraded their dining rooms voluntarily to the new standards. They're like, hey, you know what? I don't need to do this for 3 years, but I want to do it because my dining room's closed. And when people do come back in the dining rooms, they're going to have a higher expectation of the cleanliness standard has been elevated. So the fact that people are investing in there, really appreciate that. Really love that people are taking that pride of ownership. And the FBC is also one of the things I did a one-on-one with them. They said one of the things that they've taken as a positive through all this is they've gained a stronger rapport in a relationship with the franchise community because there's a lot of compassion. There's a teamwork. It's us with us. It's not us against them. And I think that's something I was really proud to be able to type up there. So I'd say reinvesting in your business, understanding that pride of ownership, doing this along with elevating our accuracy, our friendliness, and being more efficient and fast is really what's going to take this from being the new norm. This will be the new norm. We can do this. We've proved that we can handle these sales. We can do it as a brand. We've done better with our vendors now. We think we're ready. So let's change our mindset that this is it. We can do this. So all those things. So nice job there. GGI, here's something that's happened with us. We needed to adapt to no longer being an office environment just to get you stuff. All of our departments are unified. to focus on the goal of serving the franchise community. That's our number one law of order from JR and Cindy. Is our goal is to serve the franchise community, regardless if we're sitting in an office, we're sitting in at our home, wherever the work is doing. Our office is closed. I'm here because I needed to do this stuff, and I don't have the capability at my home. But it's very safe. We don't put multiple people in the hallway in a mail room, so we've had to adapt. We still kind of keep that close, communication going with the Zoom, the webinars, the smoke signals, and calls and texts and all that stuff. You've been inundated with emails from ops, training, marketing, purchasing, legal, anyone else. Doug, JR, and myself have thrown out some updates once a month to kind of give you current state of affairs, things that we think are important for you. The POS team has been tremendous in adapting to anything we throw their way. And I say that sincerely because Alicia knows that the message center and the clock-in screen are vital communication tools for you, the franchisee, and the crew. So she came up with some great ideas. Obviously, we put that positive message on the crew clock-in, but a couple times she's been able to adapt and say, hey, let's put that there because that's how you get it to the crew members. I'll put something on the message center because it's critical. Something came through, we had a recall on onions, or we got scams going on. She's like, absolutely, I'll do that right now. What do you think? I truly love the partnership that we have, that everyone's just jumping and doing whatever they can to get the information to you. So I love that. Development and ops, we've always worked very close. We work together on the whole renewal idea. Your store comes up for renewal, you guys know this process. Typically it's very deadline driven. Jay Milani works in the contracts department, so he's kind of the holder of that calendar, and he gives updates. He's understood that we're in a different environment, and I appreciate that because we become more of a compassionate group, understanding that, hey, maybe your vendors are unable to do any of the work you're required to do. Maybe you're having to just work on the hot dog line because you don't have staff, and that takes precedence over you doing a dining room when your dining room's closed. So we've had to learn that and adapt. So again, I appreciate that. And through this process, it's all new to us. We've stumbled across the way. We've made some mistakes, probably forgot to inform you of something. We've probably made some grammatical errors, even myself shooting stuff out to you. But it's all because we wanted to make sure you got everything. And we've definitely learned a lot from this. And I'd say one of the most proud thing we've done from this company is the formation of Paul's Pointers. Kudos to the training department. They put together this amazing way to communicate to you from afar on this live show. David was joking the other day that it was designed to go 4 to 5 weeks because we didn't know what this curve was with the flattening of 14-day quarantine. Well, they just did episode 28. It's thriving. They do a great job of giving a positive, uplifting message. They give you all the updated training stuff, anything quirky to remind you of. Then they invite me and Doug as guest speakers if there's something pertinent that we should share. And I love sharing good news. There's sometimes I have to say, hey, guys, we're not doing this good, because it's a captive audience, plus they record it. I mean, look at this. 2 o'clock every Thursday, Pacific Standard Time. If you can't do it, it's recorded, and they put it on GGI Learn immediately. And they have games, so they give out prizes. So highly recommend you go there. It's a good group. Another flow of communication for us is GGI Learn. We talk about it a lot. This has been a very critical piece of communication for us during this time. What Matt came up with in the training department is to do a promotional readiness tab. And what this did is it gave you tabs of every single thing to launch the new program. Very insightful. He said they had over 1,000 views in its first week. So now it's not here right now in GGI Learn because you should know what the promotion is after 2 weeks of having it. So now coronavirus tab goes across the whole board. And again, this is our main thing where everything is funneled in here. Has to do with exact change thing, the health screen form, what to do if an employee tests positive, the windshield plexiglass install, just all the different things that we've provided through this time. This is one page where everything funnels in from no matter which department. A lot of legal information, how to handle that, and then of course the recorded versions of the updates that we do. So electronic communication is awesome, but we realized we've got some challenges with you guys. It's not always, your idea of channeling that email we send you and making sure the crew member reads it. So the FBC's reported back, we had some challenges of crew members not getting all the promotional training materials. So we decided, moving forward, they deserve to have the promotional hard copy. So you notice from your last promotion, you got it, separate mailing. Moving forward, the marketing promotional material is going to go in your POP kit. but you will get an electronic version before that, just in case there's something that you need to be mindful of. So we've decided, even though our office is officially closed, we've got authorization to have a couple people on separate days go in there to print everything. Another one 24 hours later stuffs the envelopes, another one 24 hours later mails it out. We found a way to safely provide information to you guys that you guys deserve. Crew focused information, critical. So about once a month we'll figure out something to send your way. Do want to emphasize about training. Training has been a hiccup for us during this time because you're grabbing warm bodies and throwing them in the field and they're getting annihilated on the crew because of how busy we are. We want you to know how critical it is to invest in your employees. A well-trained employee is going to be loyal to you. They're going to provide great service, a great product to the guests, and they're going to be more loyal. Conversely, someone who's not trained, not given a vision, not given guidance, they're going to mess up. Then they're going to get frustrated when they get, screamed at for messing up. So invest. We know it's super busy, but when Johnny works from 11 to 6, have him come in at 10:30. Let him watch all the videos. We've got great training materials. It's just we need to make sure that they utilize them. Come in early. We can afford it now. We have the sales to justify to reinvest into labor. Let's talk about opening dining rooms. First question you're going to have to ask, is it necessary? And are you ready? I can't make I can't answer that question for you. So we put it back to you guys. We're not going to make a mandatory reopening of dining rooms right now. We might be something that we might need later on. But right now, if you look at this, there's a plethora of information that's needed. It's hard to follow all this stuff. We don't have the sales necessary. It's not critical for us as a brand. Now, we do have restaurants that don't have a drive-through, so I want to be very respectful of them. Those are the ones that would need to do whatever it takes to open up your dining room because obvious reasons. That's one of only a few ways to get sales. There's a lot of requirements you have to do. Contact your FBC if that's what you want to do because there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. Marketing did a great job and said, hey, let's be proactive. If the dining rooms want to reopen, let's do some clings, all different sizes and a banner. It's not posted here. First, contact your FBC. These are free from Direct Edge. You pay shipping and handling, but that way you can scream to your consumers, say, hey, we're ready, come on in. Now, our guidelines are changing every day, purple, red, orange, different classifications around the state. So be mindful of that and always stay on top of those guidelines before even contemplating this. So anyway, that's where we're at with dining rooms. We know that we've got a self-serve station that hasn't been used in 8 months. So those they need to be drained. Those lines need to be drained. We've got the way to do it, but something I'm working with Pepsi partnership is they're already coming in first quarter to get to do the filter program again. They'll install it and do all your preventive maintenance. If the timing is right, we'll have them come in and drain your lines if that's the right stage for you. So stay tuned. We're going to work out the details because it might be timing. Might say you request your lines to be drained. So we'll have to work through that discussion there. So another thing we just added, you just got in your stores, more SMG stuff. You guys know what this is. We added a line. We are constantly striving to deliver the best experience. We wanted to make sure in our brands that the customers know that is our intention. And so if we fell short of that, we want them to give us some feedback so we know how we can get better. This also tells them, hey, listen, we're working, we're busting our butts out here. We're doing what we can. So when we can honestly say that, we'll get the right feedback. 2021, I want to quickly go over some of the things we need to work better at to maintain normal. Accuracy, we have to get better. Staffing, hiring, employee retention. Problem solving, efficiencies, which mobile ordering might help, and elevated food safety measures. Here's a quick thing on accuracy. 77% of our restaurants repeat the order back. 23 do not. Those that repeat the order, 79% highly satisfied. Those that do not repeat the order back, only 40% highly satisfied. That means you disappoint people when you don't repeat the order. You're less likely to ring it in. You're less likely to bag it correctly if you don't simply repeat the order. So that's something we can work on. Training is already working on a program. We're already collaborating on this. This space just tells you the number one issue about accuracy is incorrect order, missing items. This is what frustrates people. And then obviously our experiences or drive-through and overall is taste of food, speed of service, and accuracy are the number 3 drivers. So if we can execute on those, we're gonna be great. We do have some hiccups there. Problem solving is kind of related to accuracy because if you're missing an item, you call, and if it's not handled correctly, 12% of our guests reported experienced a problem, and of those, 57% reported that problem, And this is the alarming one. 50 plus 16, 66% were neither highly satisfied or were highly dissatisfied or dissatisfied with the problem resolution. That's got to get better. This means someone took the time to tell you, hey, you forgot my Chicago dog. They're not satisfied with how you handle that. So that's something that we have to get better. We think a lot of it is answering the phone. You know, I know you're busy, but are you too busy to not answer a phone to make sure a guest had the experience that they deserve? That's something we're working on is a phone program, how to properly answer the phone, to do it even when you're busy, because that customer is worth it. Lastly, here, the franchisee employee retention program. We think that is really where our sales will take off and continue to stay this way if we can maintain our good employees. We know the formula is to motivate, retain, reward. So I reached out to some key franchisees out in the system and said, you know, how do you do it? How do you maintain your employees right now? One of them was like, hey, we gave everyone a $2 raise once COVID-19 hit. He's a multi-unit operator in SoCal. That's a lot, because that's hard, because you can't peel that back. I instruct my GMs to reward the hardworking employees. Losing employees is hard. Losing the good ones is really hard. Another multi-unit franchisee. That made me think. It's not to discriminate your employees, but remember, don't lose the good ones that have already put a lot of time in. One of our operators in Corpus, we allow 3% of our sales to give as a monthly bonus to all of the employees. That is phenomenal. That's a good payout, surprise and delight your employees. Awesome way to do it. We make sure to support our crew with prizes, days off, general kindness, so they know we appreciate them. Northern California operator. Pretty simple, be kind. And the last one, treat the employees the way you want to be treated. It's very simple. Operator at Chandler. I love that. It's very simple. Just treat them correctly and they'll stay. Another thing, a program that Cindy was passionate about a couple years ago, we launched a scholarship program. And what this was is in collaboration with the CRA, we had some dollars that we allocated to it, and there was a formula. So we kind of retooled it a little bit. We took out the requirement of going into college for a hospitality degree. It could be anything now. It's for your franchisees, that's franchisee, your crew members, their children, and even their grandchildren, Cindy wanted me to say. Your franchisee crew members' grandchildren qualify. They must be there for a year. So again, this is that carrot to say, hey, stay here for a year, we've got a program for you. And it's available to everybody across all of our chains all across the country. So this is a great new program, $2,000 a minimum this time, and it starts January 1. All the details, this will come out to you guys so you can see, click, and fill out the application. So who knows, that's a rewarding retention program. We've got a partnership with Olo, which integrates kind of mobile ordering and our third-party partners. Doug already talked about it, I don't have to talk a lot about it. We don't need kiosks. We got your devices are like a kiosk now, so we're gonna get into the mobile ordering world. We don't have to deal with all those updates you had to do a couple weeks ago. Everything will be streamlined through this program, and we get to get rid of all the delivery tablets. No more electrical cords and tablets all over the restaurant. It automatically goes into the POS and dispatches it right at the appropriate time and goes into the KDS. So it's a great program. We're gonna be testing it in San Diego to get a couple months of like kinks taken out. And then we're introducing a new tamper-proof seal that's gonna go for delivery as well as mobile order. You flip it over, you can put their name on it, and it's a better tamper. So we think that's awesome. A couple housekeeping things. Fries, we're changing our large fry, trying to get away from the cup world. Where you have to poke a hole in a 30-ounce cup, trying to get into the carton world where everyone else is. This right here would be 7¼ ounces fries versus 7½. Versus 8½, sorry. So you're shaving off 1¼ ounces of fries. You're saving money on a carton versus a 30-ounce cup, and you don't have to put it in a separate bag. It gets bagged as everything else does. This could be good. We don't have a dispenser for it yet because cartons are different for us. We wanted to test it at those stores in Tucson and Phoenix to see what kind of kinks we have to work out. So look forward to that in the coming months. A couple of other things, we're working on food safety measures. We've got some consultants working with us. Our patty held process is a little outdated. So we're gonna work towards a strategy. I'm gonna be honest with you, we're gonna have to like take it, put it into a freezer and then into a walk-in timely basis because nothing's more paramount than our food safety. And also we're doing time stamping for our grilled and rehydrated onions and bacon, wet erase markers and clear spoons. I don't know if you have them, so I went ahead and shipped them to you. You're gonna get them in your POP packet. You already have your ops update. Just wanna kind of give you some things that we've been noted we have to get better at. Congratulations to 3 people who actually opened restaurants in the middle of COVID. Crazy thought, I know. Farouk and Modesto to here in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and Sharon and Dominic Baker opened a converted KFC in Fife, Washington, outside of Tacoma, Washington. So congratulations to them. It's a weird time to reopen a brand. They had some challenges with employees, as you can imagine, and I'm grateful for the franchisees who took time out of their schedule to fly up and visit and help train. So congratulations to those. We got another one in Tucson opening next month. So Paul Sticker is going to add to his portfolio as well. Another tri-brand Wiener Schnitzel hamburger stand and Tasty Freeze. So congrats there. All in all, I want to say thank you very much for your patience, your dedication and hard work to the brand, and ultimately your partnership, because that's what we do. We are very proud to work hand in hand with you during these difficult times. And you know, if anything, you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact your FBC. They're a wealth of knowledge. They've got all the stuff at their fingertips. If they don't know what it is, they'll get the answer. They'll find one of us and whoever. So make that a procedure, go into them for anything. And again, from all of us at GGI, I just want to say thank you. Happy holidays to everybody. Be safe out there. Hope your families are nice and safe. And big things for 2021. This is normal. We've proven we can do it. So we can do these sales. So congratulations to everybody who's exceeded all these sales records. And until next year, thank you very much.